The third senior speaking today will be Will Hoppin.
It's a hard act to follow. Life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes it kills your dog. As my high school experience comes to a close, I've been reflecting quite a bit on what it means to honor and say goodbye to things that mean a lot to me. Over the past few weeks, the lessons I learned from my dog Winston's death this past November have repeatedly come to mind. Before his passing, I was still constantly preoccupied with being perfect. Since middle school, I felt like a failure. My impulsiveness, inability to focus for more than 30 seconds, and tendency to throw rubber snakes on my lab partners during science experiments led me to being labeled as a troublemaker. After 3 years, I had internalized my teacher's message. I was a nuisance. I was a dud. Once I narrowly escaped the tense parent-teacher meetings and mid-lecture death stares of my middle school days, the sole purpose of my life became proving my teachers wrong. In high school, I became a part-time overachiever. I learned to sit still and even avoided the students who didn't take their work seriously. What if they were contagious? I soon developed a mediocrity phobia. I judged anything and everyone I saw as flawed, which included myself, my friends, and especially my parents. I'm sorry. Would I too be that perplexed and vulnerable when I hit my 50s? The thought absolutely terrified me. Now, I regret to inform you that despite the impeccable outfit I've managed to put together today, I haven't come any closer to the narrow view of perfection I had back then. But I did find some of the peace and some of the acceptance that I was seeking. As my family and I sat on the threshold of my dog Winston's life, a lumbering golden retriever who I based all of my internet passwords off of, I reflected on the journey we had been on together. I remembered my joy when we first adopted him, and how I decided to make my birthday party puppy-themed the following year. I remembered how furious I was when he inhaled my entire saltwater taffy stash, wrappers and all, and excreted kaleidoscopic waste for days, which I had the pleasure of cleaning up. As I watched these memories become a closed chapter of my life, I saw life's scarcity, and the possibility of my own mortality. A deep desire to honor the moment and the people present in it overtook me. I began to truly see my family for the first time, and I realized how lucky I was to have each one of these people love me. A dad who blocked out a whole week of work to build a 140 square foot treehouse in our backyard. A mom who came home from yoga early every morning since freshman year to make me breakfast before school, including this morning. Thank you, Mom. I saw my family for how they loved and forgave them for making chili 4 nights in a row last week and forgetting to submit a senior ad page. Again, I am sorry. If there is any advice I could give my class as we subscribe to another 4 years of fulfilling distribution requirements and finishing chem labs at 2 a.m., it would be this. Dare to extend grace towards yourselves and the people you will meet in this next stage of your life. As my good friend Ian Gallinson says, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Life is too scarce not to honor each other in our present experience. Everyone has so much to offer. No matter how hard we strive to be something glamorous or noteworthy, our achievements will never replace our shared humanity. From being squeezed between Jacob and Taggy on a twin-sized, slowly deflating air mattress after a mediocre party my sophomore year, to being wedged between Sophie and Ian on an overcrowded bus post-senior prom, these past few years have been a wild ride. It would be impossible for me to fully convey the gratitude I feel to have shared this journey with people I've grown to love so much. Nonetheless, I've decided to try. I've written a personal haiku for each member of my class. I tried to put them under the correct seats, but Urban has no assigned seating. They always have to do things their own way. So I put them under random seats, and you can pass them to the correct person once I'm finished with this sensational and transformative speech. Not now, guys. Chill out. In the midst of the countless hours I spent crafting these poems, I also wrote a haiku about my exhaustion during the process. The final document was, I believe, 21 pages. Oh my goodness. Why? Why did I commit to this? Have not slept in days. Anyways, from every iteration of Will, from my insecure underclassman self to the amateur man I stand before you today, I want to thank everyone who believed in me and made being up here possible. I'd like to thank my teachers at Urban for treating me with the respect I did not yet know I deserved upon transferring, for gradually convincing me that I am not actually a nuisance or a dud, and for teaching me to celebrate myself. Bobby Ramos and Lauren Byrne for seeing a light in me as a young Drew Dragon and benevolently admitting me off of the Urban waitlist. Thank you. I don't know where you guys are. Chef David for consistently working unspeakable magic in the Salkind Center cafeteria every day. The Marin Carpool for jolting me awake in the mornings with the constant bickering and Kesha throwbacks. My brother for the deep integrity he brings into my family. My mom for always being my #1 fan, and my dad for the wild adventures, ambitious projects, and overwhelming generosity. The rest of you, you know who you are. As we close this chapter of our lives and maybe even see the possibility of our own mortality, I invite you to let any nostalgia you might be feeling to serve as a call to honor the preciousness of what we still have in this moment. This moment as we sit here together in Stern Grove, honoring the beauty of what was, ready for the next leg of our journey. Thank you, and go Blues.